If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. Who would you vote for?
Trump for sure.
Okay,
And
for
first
sure.
and
Why?
foremost,
Why would you do that?
so I've been hearing a lot of a lot of the talk about the tariffs and stuff, right? And so these tariffs that he's been placing have been primarily to make America for America by America. So this is for America. These tariffs are for America. Yes, they don't look the greatest right now, but give it a year, these tariffs will slowly deteriorate and make American buy American, and all products that are coming in from other countries we can make here, if not even 10 times better. Made in America is better than made in China.
Well, oftentimes when it says made in America, it's assembled in America, but it's not every aspect of the process is
Right,
made in America. So you're
right.
going to increase the cost of those goods. Saying that the tariff is not going to impact us is just false. Right? Within plenty of different industries, right? It's never going to be created in the United States to the same degree as what exists around the world. For example, certain agricultural products are never going to be created in the same conditions here in the United States until there's some type of technological difference, right? Comparative to again what it is right now in different climates around the United States or around the world, not in the United States. So do you understand that, like, again, tariffs, if you're placing them on every single market, every single industry, that's going to cause an increase in the price in the long run that will stay around in the long run. Saying that it won't stay around is just not true. Secondly, if it were to be the case that there'd be a bring back in manufacturing, one, we'd see an increase in real manufacturing investment right now. And two, that would have to be by a legislative pass of tariffs. Tariffs, if they're passed by the executive, can just be overrun by the next president. So there's no real incentive for companies to bring back manufacturing to a high extent here in the United States, here to the United States. Does that make
Right,
sense?
but do you also yeah, it does. And I'm for sure not anywhere near politically where I should be, but I've grown up in a Republican and supportive of Trump and the Republican Party, and you can see the difference in automatically as soon as before Trump was even elected, he was already working on building the economy and making, first of all, trying to get no tax on tips and trying to get people the money that they deserve for the work that they're putting in. No tax on overtime. This is true American people that are being taxed for things that they can't control. And I understand that the tariffs they cause a little bit of backlash on small town companies and different organizations that are doing better than some others. Um, and I also understand that the tariffs they also um, they put a bigger bill now, but like you said, like yes, another president can come behind them and be like, no, we're not going to do this anymore. But you can also, with the time that you have, try to do the best that you can before, because that's just how America works. You have 4 years and then you're out of there unless you run again and you make it. That's just how America works. So you do as much as you can in that 4 years,
But the
and
idea is that it's more permanent if it's legislative, whereas like if it's executive, it's less because it can just be overturned very quickly with the next administration, which will likely be different, given the trajectory of how the economy is functioning right now, especially. But if you want to look at the context of the things in terms of no tax on tips and overtime, those things were specifically advocated for Democrats, which were to a greater extent they wanted the deductions to be even greater than they were. Secondly, if you look at the Harris administration policy, she wanted to keep all of the tax cuts for income under $400,000 a year and just wanted to increase taxes for income over $400,000 a year on only on the income over 400,000. So that's what
so
she was
so
advocating for. So everyone under 400,000 would have received the same tax cuts, and they actually wouldn't have received a tax increase because she wouldn't have imposed tariffs to the same degree. Trump has imposed tariffs to a greater extent, which is actually shifting the burden of taxation from those who are higher income to those that are lower income, because a income tax, which is what he's replacing with a tariff, is a progressive tax structure, meaning that the more income you make, the more you pay in taxes. So if you replace that with tariffs, which have a disproportionate negative impact on lower and middle income individuals because they spend a greater proportion of their income on consumer goods, then it would be the case that you'd be taxed at a higher rate if you're lower income disproportionately. So it's shifting the burden of taxation from those that are higher income to those that are lower income.
right, and I understand that, but and I think we all can agree that taxes just suck. Because because that's what Trump is about, is getting these taxes and trying to take them down, and inflation is 100% down since the beginning of his term. He has done tremendously with with the tariffs, but also making the inflation go down. Gas is down. Prices of eggs is down. Prices of milk is down. It's all slowly going down. Yes, it's not going to happen in one day, because how awful Biden and Harris did with the time that they had. They did nothing. They did absolutely nothing, and they also destroyed the economy, and it was at an all-time low. And Trump is having to work with that, and it's not easy. Have you ever tried to build up an economy? I haven't either, because we wouldn't be able to by ourselves. It takes years to refix and redo what they ruined.
Okay. Gas prices are up since Trump got in office. Inflation is not down, right? Inflation has gone up since April, which is when he imposed Liberation Day tariffs. Yes, it is down by 0.1%, but it's trending upwards, and it's going to continue to trend upwards, which is exactly what the Fed has indicated. They said that the jobs report are so bad, so they have to risk increasing inflation even to a greater extent, because it is the case that the jobs report was so bad that they need to increase demand to be able to bring about more jobs in the economy. Otherwise, we could see possible stagflation, by the way. So that's actually like what they have indicated and said themselves. And then like none of those things were down. And then that you mentioned, they were all up since Trump got in office. And then you said Biden and Harris destroyed the economy as an all-time low. What metric was at an all-time low under the Biden-Harris administration other than unemployment? Well, it wasn't an all-time low,
Well,
50-year low.
inflation hit an all-time high with
It didn't.
Biden in office.
No, it didn't. That was not an
Oh,
all-time high.
okay.
Do you want me to show you U.S. inflation in the 70s?
Please, yes, please.
For sure. So does that look like the highest ever?
And this is Great Depression time, right?
This is comparing to, this is 70s. That's not Great Depression. Great Depression is here, actually, when there was deflation. Deflation comes
Okay.
about due to those circumstances because of the fact that the economy is slowing in growth.
Right. Okay. But you see, okay, so to the right is today, correct? I can't see it
Mm-hmm.
very well. So you look at the
This is
70s,
today.
you see that massive drop, over the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. And then you see that little growth right there.
Do you see
That is the
inflation here?
time.
Inflation was like practically the same, if not more, under Trump. You see? Under Trump, you see actually like an increase in inflation. Okay. And that was because of the fact that his policy increases aggregate demand. Secondly, like again, we've seen inflation increase since Trump has imposed his tariffs. His tariffs are inflationary, okay, meaning that they put upward pressure on prices, which is going to cause prices to go up even more than what they would have if the Harris administration were in office. We would have been able to see greater levels of rate declines in terms of interest rates if it was the case that Harris was in office, which would help people out in terms of their mortgages and allow them to refinance comparative to previous interest rates that they had. Secondly, we could also address the idea that like Donald Trump's labor market significantly worse due to his tariffs, so people would have better ideas getting jobs, better chances getting jobs, higher paying jobs that be. We'd have more growth in terms of real GDP, as it is the case that we wouldn't have had the first quarter
There has
a
been
net
more job
0.3%
opportunities for
decline in real GDP. What's up?
there has been more job opportunities for not only white Americans but also African Americans and blacks. There's been more
Black people,
job
one, and then
opportunity
also I don't know why you would specify race to be relevant in this context at all. No, jobs are not
because
have not increased.
because Kamala
Hey,
Harris's
I just want
entire
to know, jobs have not increased, right, in this country to a greater extent under Trump. They have actually declined in how much they're increasing. That's why he
that's
fired
not
the head
true at
of the
all.
Bureau of Labor Statistics, because he said that the information that they were putting out was politically biased, and then the person that he had put into that position indicated there was even less jobs added the next month.
You want to tell me that Kamala Harris's
Kamala.
entire spiel is she is not gonna she the entire time she's pushing the black employment. over the entirety of her
Push this one.
um, running, and Trump has not only gained
Unemployment
more.
has increased since Trump got in office.
That's not true at all.
It has. You want me to show you?
Sure.
Okay.
I wish I had my computer in front of me like you.
That's fine. I mean, I've already looked at all of these things, so I'm just showing you them. I mean,
Yeah, I don't study this stuff. I just.
well, I do. I got a degree in economics. So you see, this is when Trump got in office. Here at 4%. Since he got in office, it's gone up by 0.3%. It's at 4.3% now. You see, it's trending
Okay.
up.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Okay. So this is in place because of the tariffs. This is there's a lot of problems that come with tariffs, and that's kind of a risk you have to take with these tariffs. And we can all agree that certain tariffs nobody should ever agree with because it's just going to be problems for a while. But we all know that this tariff it brings these taxes and it brings this inflation. But as soon it less than a year, everything will be down and everything will and employment will be up.
No, that's just not true.
That's 100% true.
No, if dude, so again, if you're saying that there won't be inflation, that's just objectively false because if the tariffs are in place, that puts upward pressure on the prices. Okay, and you think in a year there's going to be level of manufacturing in the United States that's going to
Okay,
outpace what
but
exists in other
you
countries?
also
Oh, you're
understand.
also not understanding. You're also not understanding that the reason why it's being produced in other countries is because it was produced for cheaper at the same level of quality, if not better quality. That's why it's being produced in other places, not being produced here, meaning that there's a greater cost to produce here, which you made even more of a cost to produce here by tariffing everything. Right? You're not even tariffing specific industries that would increase the domestic manufacturing within specialized industries in the United States. You're specifically putting a tariff on everything, which will cause the domestic manufacturing process to be more expensive, which will
But you have
disincentivize manufacturing investment.
but you have to understand that America, we used to never import and rely on other countries for one, like oil and importing different
That's just
things
not
here. When
true. When?
we should pump
When
our
did
own
when did we not
oil.
rely on other countries? And why would it be wrong to rely on our allies, for example?
No, I'm not saying it's not wrong. We should rely on our allies, but making America for America and making things in America, manufacturing them in America, and assembling them
So why
in
doesn't Trump do
America.
that in his own businesses? If you go to Trump's gift shop, right, in Las Vegas, Nevada, in his hotel, there's lots of things there that are made in China. I've made a video
There's
of this before. I literally went there and I showed people that he had stuff in his gift shop made in China. Literally said on it.
because he has just started this. This has just started
What? No, he's been talking about this since 2015.
talking, but you don't have the power like a president does. He
First
just got into
galaxy, thank you.
office.
He was in office in 2017 through 2021.
But you also have to realize it. Like I said, it's not just a thing that happens overnight.
4 years. And he still has had
Over
time.
decades and
And by
decades
the way,
of
it's his own
importing
business.
business.
Yes, it is something that can change overnight. It's his own business. What are you talking about? It's his own business. We're not even talking about him being in the position of presidency. We're saying control over his own business to ensure that the products in his gift shop, right, are made in America. That's just products in a gift shop. That's not even like anything else. So, like, if he can't even ensure that the products in his gift shop are made in America, why should we be forced to make everything in the United States, right? When it is the case that we just don't have a comparative advantage for producing particular goods in the United States, whether that be due to the climate, agricultural conditions that we exist in, right here in the United States comparative to other places around the world. Again, that's just true. The U.S. does not have every climate of all around the world, and there are better conditions in other places around the world to produce certain agricultural goods, and that's amazing. We want those goods. We don't want them produced in the United States because they're worse. That's why American consumers prefer to buy them.
And I understand that, but the tariffs is slowing down the process of importing other things from other countries that we can make here for better because we can. If you look
But
into it,
wait, you say
things
that
made
are
in
better.
America,
There's no evidence that they're better. If they were better, we'd already be
things
buying.
made in
Wait, I'm
America,
sorry. I'm sorry. If they're better, why aren't American consumers buying them?
things made in America are 10 times better. You
So
cannot you
so so
cannot
then why
argue
aren't American consumers, if they're 10 times better, why aren't American consumers buying them?
because you can't get it as cheap as you can from importing it.
So it's not
It's
better?
cheap.
So it's worse?
It's cheap. No, listen to what I'm saying. It is cheap and it is
Wait, if
it is
something
more
wait,
expensive.
I have a question. To a consumer, if it's cheaper, is it better?
It depends on what
What?
you're buying.
I'll give you an example, right? If you could get food for cheaper, the same food, would you want it cheaper?
I'm not talking about food.
I'm just giving an example.
I for sure.
Yeah, that's better for the consumer, right? Because to you, you have to give up less of your money. Why would you want to give up
No,
more of
but
your money for the same thing?
I'm
You
more
know
of
what I mean?
thinking of.
So if it's cheaper and it's the same quality, then yes, consumers are going to buy it.
But you have to also understand like products. I'm not talking food. I'm not talking things that you consume. I'm talking like objects and vehicles and different day to day things. You cannot tell me that things made in America. Yes, they might be more expensive because it's made better. It's not made with cheap material.
You,
Like
you got to
I
tell
don't know if
me,
you've
like,
ever
give me
bought. I don't know if
give
you've
give
ever
me a
bought.
specific industry, a specific product where it's produced in the United States. It's made with quote unquote better materials than products that are coming in from countries around the world. Give me a
Okay,
specific example.
let's say you buy a bookshelf from China. We all know
You think
the
bookshelves in the
garbage.
United States are better? With what materials are they made out of? Bookshelves.
Can I finish my topic real quick? Can I finish what I was
Yeah, no.
saying?
Tell me what materials are
I,
bookshelves made out of?
I will tell you. I will tell you. Products that are made in America are made with natural woods and real wood,
Real wood. So
not
you
chopped
don't
up.
think countries around the world are producing bookshelves with real wood? Come on. You're being ridiculous right now. You're being so ridiculous.
I never
You
said that.
think the United
You
States is
cannot
the
tell
only
me.
country on planet Earth producing bookshelves with wood?
No, you keep cutting me off.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I just can't finish my topic.
I apologize.
I am telling you, yes, you will go to China and you will see a solid wood table made out of wood planks. But I'm talking about the wood that you import for cheaply is going to be that garbage, scrapped and mixed up wood that falls apart in a year. Now you will see in America, you will see the products that we make in America are durable. They will last longer. They will last for generations. Like for the Amish, for example. I don't know if you've ever bought anything from Amish, but they make beautiful furniture, and it is American made, and it is purely made, and it's manufactured with full wood pieces. In China, they manufacture furniture with several different pieces of wood, all different kinds of wood, and they mush it together,
They do
and it
that in the
crumbles
US too.
over the years.
They do that in the US too. Did you know that in the US, there are different types of manufacturing processes that businesses will use because they test out to see which ones are bought the most, which ones specifically are going to be cheaper in terms of the production process so they can make more of them, so they could sell more of them. There's plenty of different contexts as to why products are going to have different types of aspects of their manufacturing process comparative to other companies. That is not specific to China or to the United States. That's specific to different companies using a different manufacturing process. What are you talking about? You act like, again, China is the only country in the world that specifically will utilize more than just wood to make bookshelves.
Well, of course not. Of course
You're
not.
assuming these general narratives to be true. And already it is the case that over 70% of the specific wood that's used in the United States specifically is from forests in the United States, but 28% of the lumber that we get in the United States is primarily coming from countries like Canada. Do you think that we shouldn't be getting lumber or wood from countries like Canada?
I do not, because there are certain trees in different countries that we just do not have in America.
Wait, I'm sorry, the trees are better there in some contexts, and that's exactly why we buy the lumber from them.
I have never once said, I've never claimed that is dumb or is ridiculous to buy wood or any other product from other countries. But in America, we should want, as a country, we should want to make America and make it for America. Like I've said it millions of times. It is good to have American products in America by Americans, American made.
Okay, you know that happened to a greater extent under the Biden-Harris administration. there was a greater level of manufacturing investment, real manufacturing investment under the Biden-Harris administration than under the Trump administration right now, and actually under the Obama administration previously, comparative to the end of Trump's first administration. So under Trump's administrations, we've seen a decline in real manufacturing investment, and under Democrats, specifically Biden, we've seen an increase. So if you want there to be in manufacturing investment increasing in this country, if you want there to be more investment into manufacturing, then you should clearly support Democrats that actually had policies like the Chips and Science Act, right, that specifically were building up the manufacturing in this country, like the bipartisan infrastructure bill that we're building up manufacturing in this country, comparative to Donald Trump's policies that clearly haven't led to that.
Okay. No, I don't have information to back that up because I'm not, like you said, I'm not prepared like you are. Like, props to you for getting your degree in economics because I certainly am not smart enough to do that. But would you want
You
to
certainly are.
really? You think so?
Yes.
I definitely have the fire for politics, but I've never, and not even just politics, but economics is so interesting to me that it's the foundation of every community and every country, I think, in the world.
Okay, so like, and here's my point: is that like I've done a lot of research, right? And
Right.
I'm going to say things in a genuine basis. This is genuinely what I believe,
Right.
and I'm
Oh
telling
yeah.
you what I think is better. And I'm indicating there's no good economic argument for Trump being better in terms of the economy. Like I've seriously thought about it for a really long time. There's no good argument for that.